What's going on, everyone? It is Gray, aka the Kagure, and we got more stuff. Yay, My Hero and Ruby at the same time. Wow. Also, I talked about the latest episode of Ruby yesterday, so go check that out if you have not already. And yeah, well, more Bleach will be on the way soon, probably the next couple days. And we're talking about My Hero. Last week was crazy. 10 out of 10 chapter. If you have not seen my reaction to that, please go check it out because it's basically insane. The whole chapter is insane. Sorry about the green screen. This corner is just going to be messed up forever. This week is basically like a bit like last week was like a peak. This week is like a slight like little incline. Still super great. Still good. A lot of new questions that I'm finding myself asking. Well, let's just get into it. You know what I'm saying? If you want more My Hero content, like the video and subscribe. It'd be great. Thanks. I almost forget to say that. I don't, but I do sometimes. First of all, we get a young Toya. Dabi? Let's call him Toya now. I'm going to call him Toya. I'm going to try to, at least. We have a young Toya training with his dad, and they talking about how his hair was turning white. So they a bit favored the animators because they cut his hair red originally, and now his hair is turning white. When he was a kid, and he was like eager to train. He's doing ultimate move, and fire was great, and it's honestly. So we're gonna talk about it. So it was about young Toya training with his dad. His dad's happy. His wife wanted another baby. They got the daughter, and it was excited to train him. And then we get a little bit. Ow, he's hurt because was that Endeavor? We don't know. He just turned a goal. He thought he was dead. He's like, no, you're like Toya's dead. Like, don't lie. And he's like, that's not true. I took a DNA test. And so we see the league. They're like, hey, Shigaraki, wake up. We need to check Tsumaki to take orders. And then he's like, wow, Dabi never told me. Well, Mr. Compress, this line right here. Can you see my mouse over here? This line right here makes me so mad. Not mad, like real mad, but like, my word, another with quite the bloodline. We're going to get into that. You stick around because when we're done going over the whole chapter, we're going to talk about that line because that line is crazy for a reason. Dabi talks about a DNA test done. It's not an elaborate hoax. If not, you can take his blood, whatever. After that, Dabi gives basically Todoroki's backstory. He's like, yeah, Mega had kids. He was abusive. And then the freaking, what's his name? What's this kid's name? Hold on. Catcha Cancun or whatever his name is. I don't remember. I straight up don't remember his name. Does it say it? Can't you see? Yeah, he's like, yeah, clearly he's lying. And then it shows the video of Hawk. Turns out Toya had a camera on him the whole time. And when he went to go help twice, he was videotaping him dying. Well, they're going to get a little more of that. Also, we get a cute little line from Skeptic here. And then he was like, yeah, Hawks killed Best Genist to earn favor with the league. And then it showed Hawks, and he's like, oh, by the way, his dad was also a robber and murderer, which is why his name is like, whatever. We get some Toya. He's like, I did this. Heck the heroes, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh no, no one's gonna have faith in Hero Society. He jumps down. Shoto calls Endeavor father. That's kind of cute. He's like, yeah, Endeavor's just a complete shock this whole chapter. He doesn't say or do it. He's just staring. He has a flash fire fist. He's about to do a Toya prominence burn, which would probably kill him, right? With how hot the fire burned early in the chapter. Oh, whoops! I almost twist ending. Early in the chapter, it talked about his flames burning to be like 2,000 degrees. They give a little bit of a backstory, a tiny bit. Yeah. They only found a fragment of his lower jawbone. Everything else was completely burned, and the fire burned at over 2,000 degrees Celsius. So I don't think if Toya did a prominence burn now, I don't think my man's surviving. But either way, it gets interrupted by, of course, Best Genist arrives on the scene. What a cliffhanger. Okay, there's like a lot to delve into this chapter because we get some nuggets of information. it showed that, first of all, young Toya is adorable. It also showed that Endeavor was not always a terrible father and husband. It turns out when Toya was young and training, he was like happy and he liked training with his dad. And his wife even like, I don't know if they like ever loved each other because it was like a forced marriage. But I definitely think there was respect there. It seems as though because she wanted another kid and they were happy. When the daughter was born, he was happy. Endeavor was like happy and he liked his kids. So I assume that there was a turning point. There was a breaking point. Something must have happened. Maybe it was Todoroki or Shoto that like really screwed everything up because he was finally the one that he wanted. So he pushed everything on him because Shoto was born when Toya was still at the house, I believe. I believe that was the case. Because, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, and it's not talking about Endeavor. Little Shoto, and then he's abused her. I seen him do it. He abused it. I don't know. I thought he was around when Shoto was, but he might have been right after. Either way, what I'm saying is it's interesting because it means that Endeavor probably broke at some point and then turned abusive and a terrible person and blah, blah, blah. Also, it explains why he was so strained considering he lost a kid. And I don't know. Maybe he pushed him because he loved him. You know, I heard that. He was like, yeah, I want you to be so great. I'm going to push him. And then he pushed him to Either way, interesting to know that it wasn't quite... It wasn't always what Shoto's backstory showed. Which is interesting because he was the youngest, obviously. So his family was different. I'm really interested to see how his siblings react to this news. Like, so interested. You have no idea. And now we can get to this. To Mr. Compress's little line here. Now, on first thought, you would just think, oh, he's talking about Shigaraki. No one in the league knows about Shigaraki's backstory except for All For One. Yeah, except for All For One. Because they were not there when that was revealed to him. Because he just learned it. So who the heck is Mr. Compress talking about? Is Mr. Compress somebody crazy? What does that even mean? Who could he be? Like, what? What do you mean, Mr. Compress? What are you talking about? You're the most mysterious one. Another? What do you mean, Mr. What? Who? You? Is it him? Like, what would that even... Who could even be? Is it like Jiro's dad in there? Like, what's this? Is Mr. Compress Deku's dad, bro? Like, I don't even know who that could be. I literally don't know because there's no other really open ends in this series besides the trader, which by the way, I do think is a drop plot point. So in case anyone's wondering what my theory there is, I think it's a drop plot point. I think it wasn't true. And if it is true, either way. Let's see. The whole videotaping, so clearly I feel as though Twice dying was almost a part of Dobby's plan because he wanted to get dirt on Hawks and just drop the bomb. Because clearly Dobby's here for Endeavor, right? Like Toya is here for Endeavor. That's what he wants. But Hawks, I mean, that's a juicy win. And he clearly doesn't care that much about his co-workers in the league. Co-workers? Allies? Sure. And like, so letting him die. Sorry, I had to fight back a yawn. It's like 3 a.m. where I am, by the way. I'm recording super early. Because I'm going to be busy tomorrow. Yeah, so he's like, he clearly was a part of his plan, which is honestly kind of impressive. Kind of impressive that he had like the foresight for all this, because frankly, Toya previously always kind of rubbed me as kind of dumb. A little dumb. It also was a little dumb in the next part where he talks about killed Best Genius. A little dumb that he didn't bother confirming whether or not that was real or not. Because he just saw the body and he's like, oh, good job, Hawks. And it bites him because he's like, yeah, because he was so sure when Best Genius shows up. This is like the thing I'm going to end on. Best Genius being here, being alive, is immediately going to call suspicion everything else he said. Every single thing else he said is going to be called into suspicion that can it be real because this thing he said isn't real. First of all, he's already a terrorist and murderer. So believing him is like why would you? Realistically, why would, like, that's like a terrorist came on the TV and said everything, a bunch of bad stuff. Like, people like, I'm not going to believe you. Like, it's probably a lie. And this already proves that one of the things he said was a lie. Now, this is being broadcast, his message about Best Jeanist, Hawks, Endeavor. And their fight probably isn't being as broadcast, so this news will take a little bit. So I actually don't think Hero Society will crumble immediately because of this information. I think it'll be a blow. I definitely feel like the information is out there anyway, so it's immediately going to be called a suspicion. Or just by nature of existing, it will be called a suspicion. And then, of course, leading up to what I think is going to happen in a couple chapters from now when all the fighting is over, what is Endeavor going to do? Is Endeavor going to make a public statement confirming this? Are they going to get a piece of Dobby's DNA and they like, or Toya, God, that's going to suck. And they finally like, yeah, Endeavor, he is your kid. And he's going to be like, and is it, I think a huge step in Endeavor's character development depends on, does he like come up to the public and be like, he got me. Yep. That's my boy. Or at least if he doesn't, I want to know the reason why. That I think will be really interesting. Best Jeanist is here. Honestly, it's looking kind of good for the heroes. Since Shigaraki can't order Gigantomachia, they're just kind of sitting ducks. Best Jeanist is here, and he's a really strong hero. Number three. So he might be number 1 by default, considering both our number 1 and 2 heroes are maimed, potentially forever. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm going to give this chapter 8 out of 10. I liked it. I was kind of annoyed that Toya was like, yeah, and he killed Best Jeanist, and then immediately Best Jeanist is like, what's up? You know what I mean? That just annoyed me personally. It wasn't like, it didn't make me dislike anything. I was just like, oh, that's kind of annoying. That like he said that, you know what I mean? Like I just would have left it at the Hawks and Endeavor thing and not worried about Best Jeanist, but you know, what are you going to do? Either way, great chapter. I'm loving this. This series is just, it can't miss in my opinion. It really just can't miss. I'm hyped for next week. I think, yeah, November 29th. I don't think that's a week from now. Is it? Is it the 17th? It isn't. Wait. It isn't. Is that? Is that a 2-week break? I think it is. I think it's a 2-week break. I think it's a 2-week break is what I'm saying. Either way, should get Bleach, Ruby, obviously, every Saturday, Sunday, whenever I get those up. Check those out. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace. I can't find the end recording.